This is a dive on the Nomad LT open water model. John and Kenny are giving him a test dive over at Devil's Ear. Not a real good place to take the units diving since after a short swim in the run, we're going to be in the cave. But as you can see, it's got an over-the-shoulder corrugated dump and a pull valve located on the bottom. Once in the cave, we were testing it to see just how small of a place we could get into and also how streamlined the bottles would be. We were very concerned to make sure that we got this product right, to make sure it would work in all environments. We don't recommend the open water version for here, but we're testing it. We went back to the white room to take a look at what was going on back there because there was a lot of river intrusion and the river water was up toward the ceiling. So we had to make a jump to go back in there. Kenny tied off, and you can see a little bit of his real experience right here as he ties off and we go back into the white room. Notice the profile of the LT. Very little issues with it as far as the size. It's got about 25 pounds of lift and stays very, very nice and compact to the back. We go into the room. Kenny's running the reel, and we will get into the river water here in just a second. Like I said, our dive here was to test the trim and buoyancy of the rig, and like you can see is real usage right there as we go into the room. We'll drop the reel and then go back up into the river water intrusion just to give you a look at it. So I'm looking up into it. The guys have already gone up in there, and you can see how dark it gets with the river water. All that was from the flooding that we had last month. So it's for some reason trapped up here in the room. So after we checked it out, very low visibility, we dropped back down into the clear water at the bottom of the room. And then we started to make our way back out. Part of the testing here was, since you can dive the Nomad LT with steel 85s and a dry suit, at this point I let all the air out of my LT and the rest of my dive was done strictly using my dry suit for buoyancy. Remember, it's only got about 25 pounds of lift, so this is not for big cylinders, and if you have to wear weight with steel 85s, then it's not the BC for you. So now we took it into the small areas. Like I said, we don't recommend this model for this stuff, but we were testing it out to see how these performed with the valving positioned on the outside for the open water market, where on the tech model, they're on the inside. Makes it very easy to get through small places with this style of rig. As you can see, we're getting into the small stuff here. The tanks are nicely balanced, and the way they're hooked in with the ring bungees, even when the diver has to turn on his side, he can still get through very easily. The tanks stay in place. Some people say that's a downfall of the ring bungees, but as you can see here, the tanks are staying nicely in place while going through these low areas. Makes it very easy to hook the bottles up and negotiate these places with the ring bungee system. Notice they're right up under his arms and everything is staying in place. So as we work our way through here, we're just testing how everything rides as we curve and turn sideways, everything to see if there's any give in the system somewhere that we need to work on, but it's performing nicely. Remember, I'm diving with 85s and my dry suit as buoyancy. I've let all the air out of the unit. It's a little bit tougher because I can feel the air in the legs of the suit, more so than I would like to have, but buoyancy and trim is just fine when running 85s that way. So this was our little test dive with the Nomad LT open water model to make sure we had everything just the way we wanted. I think we got a winner.